You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show of the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. We don't have any new callers today, but I think our first caller is Batman.
Man, I'm giving you a triple call today, man, but just kept listening to the pods and everything, and the referee situation has still been festering in my mind for a while, man. Just the whole getting kids and people and all of those, I don't know, do a hiring fair. I looked it up. 121 people are employed by referees in a season are employed in a season, 121 refs times $250,000 is $30 million to make sure that you get it right with people that actually care about their job to get the job right. And I do agree that technology has to play a big part. Why do they not have a chip in the ball? I mean, I'm assuming they already do somehow, or they're able to measure things with other softwares to get a first down at the bottom of a pile where you can't see absolutely anything and you can measure exactly where that ball got. I think first downs in those types of plays is somewhere where they can probably test that thing out. The boundaries, I think they get a pretty good job of, out of bounds, inbounds, those things aren't any issues with that, but I think it's more holding calls. Obviously, we're a little bit biased because of the Micah stuff, but it happens pretty much every play. So how are you going to officiate that? I think that's where you need the human error and element involved in it to keep it that way. But when it comes to very specifics like a first down marker or anything like that, that's where I think the technology should be tested. And they should definitely go to hiring 121, 25, or 30-year-olds or whatever years old that can dedicate their entire lives to this stuff. Man, I would jump on in 2 seconds. Give me $250,000 to watch as much football as I possibly can and then go out there and officiate a game. Are you kidding me? That sounds like a dream job for a lot of people, including me, man. Anyway, had to finish on a positive note with that stuff, so quote-unquote positive. Because I almost died right now with the guy sideswiping me, but my reflexes were that of a Batman. See you, man.
Yeah, the ref situation, I mean, I guess the good news we got, and it's probably all the good news we're going to get, although I'll talk a little bit tomorrow about one additional thing that seems at least interesting. But I don't know how much better this is going to get. They don't seem to be massively motivated to make any big sweeping changes. I mean, I guess they do kind of slow crawl a little bit of technology here and there. And you're right, there is an upper limit, because technology is going to end up being too perfect. And there's going to be penalties on every play, and nobody wants to watch that. But I don't know. I feel like there's still some room to go in terms of we could probably focus on more, not less. But we'll see. We'll see where we go here.
Hey, everybody.
Howdy.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
I'm doing all right.
Thanks.
Hey, I had an idea about your little crazy thing to do.
Yeah, please.
I mean, and this is something that you could actually do as a day trip, a drive. It would take you all day, but lots of stops. You can do the Wisconsin Gangster Tour.
Oh,
and that's driving up into the Northwoods and going to all the little places that all the gangsters used to go to. One of the places is Little Bohemia Lodge.
Been there several times. Very cool.
There's Al Capone's hideout in Quarterray. You can do boat tours if you really want to. You can do, there's an old speakeasy, I guess, called Shaker's Cigar Bar. And so anyway, it's just an idea to hop in the car and go. I mean, if that's what you're looking for, Right. I don't know if there's cheap hotels up there. Maybe we'll spend one night. I don't know. I've been to Little Bohemia. It is a bar and a restaurant. They no longer operate as a hotel, but there's still things you can look at, and it is kind of a neat place. If you want to eat there, you have to make a reservation. They are booked, especially during the summer. We didn't eat there because of that. We just sat at the bar and had a couple drinks and looked around, and then that was it. But, yeah, we couldn't even get a table. So if you're going to want to eat there, you want to make a reservation. But anyway, it was just an idea. I thought you might be up for gangsta things, Just an idea. Okay, bye.
I appreciate you looking out for me with all the ideas and stuff. I've kind of calmed down a touch on the neuroticism, I guess you could say. But not entirely and not completely. There's still, I think I've just kind of resigned myself to the fact that there's really nothing I can do at the moment. But we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. Yeah, I have been to Little Bohemia. I know we ate there once. I don't remember how good it was, but doesn't mean it was bad. It was just kind of a long time ago, and maybe I didn't really fully appreciate it at the time. But yeah, we used to drive up to the old Northwoods every year. We used to get a place called, I think it's called The Point. We used to stay there, and then we started going to a little further in Manitowish Waters. There's another place, much nicer. Nothing wrong with The Point, but even nicer. And that was like an every year thing. In fact, we used to go there like twice a year for a while. We'd go out there in the summertime, and then we go out there in the wintertime and do some. It's cool because it's a family trip / a fishing trip. So that was always a ton of fun. It was the whole family. It was me, the aunts, uncles, cousins, grandma, grandpa. That was a lot of fun. But that was back in the day. Daniel from California, what's going on?
Hey, Ryan, Daniel from California. I was just listening to the Jonathan Gannon interview, the opening press conference for the defensive coordinator. Something that he said that really, I don't know if it's going to get the attention. Jonathan Gannon's been around the league, okay? He's worked for lots of guys. He's worked for the Philly staff. He had his own staff. He, with Mike Zimmer, people. He's been around some really, really high-level coaches.
Yeah.
He didn't say much, but the way he talked about Matt LaFleur, I can infer that Matt LaFleur is the most intelligent coach that he's been around. Not like intelligence as in, oh, he's smart, but like the most high-level football mind he's been around.
Right.
And Jonathan Gannon is a good coach. You see everything he's done in the league, and just the performances he's got out of people everywhere he's gone. Like you could easily like this guy's a quality coach, right? And the fact that he's been around as long as he has, it's not super long time, but it's long enough in the NFL, and it's just how he talks about Matt LaFleur. I wish Matt LaFleur had a little more success and just a little bit more respect among the casual people. I know NFL coaches think this guy's amazing.
Right.
I know that just everything going on. I wish we appreciated Matt LaFleur as kind of more, but we don't appreciate anything. We're Packers fans. We've had it so good for so long. I'm appreciative. Like, I don't know, just like we don't have the Super Bowl, but just the consistency that we've had Jordan's not as good as Aaron, right? With an average quarterback to above average quarterback, right? I know this last year Jordan has taken a step, but we've been competitive this last couple of years too. And he's taken Malik Willis, and he's gotten Malik Willis to be productive too. And when he had Aaron Rodgers, it was better than when McCarthy had Rodgers. He was playing at his highest levels, some of the highest levels his whole time as an old guy. So I just want everybody to really think about what Jonathan Gannon said about Matt LaFleur, and that's how we should see Matt LaFleur. As somebody who knows football and who is a high-level defensive mind, how they think about him, that's what I want you to think. Go Pack, go.
Yeah, I mean, there's room for critique, but then there's just being wrong. And I think, and I haven't heard a ton of it, to be fair, but I think if somebody's critique is he's not actually that smart of an offensive mind, that's kind of overrated or whatever. I mean, that's your opinion, and it's not shared by very many people. It's not shared by anybody that I'm aware of in those ranks. I mean, he is up there, and he's proved that over and over again. I I think maybe the closest we've come to crossing that line is critiquing some of his play calling decisions. But outside of that, I don't know. I feel like I hope we're mostly on the same page. Again, maybe there's some leadership issues or something possibly. I don't know. But there's no doubt that he is very intelligent when it comes to being an offensive mind and is extremely well respected across the NFL. Okay, let's take our first break. We got Randy from Minnesota coming back.
Hey, Ryan, it's Randy in Minnesota. Been a while since I could call in. I have kept up on the pods. Really enjoying them still. A couple things. Love the draft. We did a lot with a little. So,
yeah.
Good job, Goots. And just on the one question, am I the only one that thinks Trey Smack looks a heck of a lot like Jordy Nelson? When I first saw the picture, I was like, what's Jordy doing in Green Bay? I'm like, oh, my God, it's the kicker. Maybe I'm just wrong, which has happened before. Your comments on LVN were spot on. There's no way we can let that guy go. It was ridiculous. I did read an article that an unnamed NFL source, general manager, was concerned about Green Bay. He was saying that we lost a tremendous amount of snaps in free agency, that with the people we lost, it's going to be hard to replace.
Yeah.
My question is, but were they good snaps? I'm sorry.
Right.
Rashaun Walker had a crap year. Elton Jenkins had a crap year for the most part. Rashaun Gary was like on the back of a milk carton the last half of the season. And, I just don't see it. I could be out there and they lose me. That would not be a good snap. Those would not be good snaps, so they didn't lose much. There's all these unnamed sources. If you won't put your name to it, then don't run your mouth, because it's just ridiculous. I was kind of pumped up to hear Jonathan Gannon. It sounds like it's going to be exciting, I think. And finally, I'm just rambling. I apologize. Your AI thing, people are worried about AI taking over. I think as humans, we got a secret weapon that AI will never be able to compete with. And that's our own ability to be stupid. I think AI, if you want logic, if you want things to go in a certain order, AI is going to knock your socks off. But there's always some smart-ass human that's going to come up with a way to cheat the system or do something a little bit different than what could be predicted by a computer that they'll never be able to come up with. So in a way, I think sometimes our own stupidity or our own, let's just say uniqueness, is what's going to save us from our AI overlords. So that's all I got, Ryan.
3 minutes got him, but it looked like he was wrapping up there. Oh boy, here we go. Again, when we do multiple topics, I get lost. Oh, the lost snap thing. To be clear, nobody ever loses snaps. It's a misnomer. They're transferred. They're replaced. And I think commentators would sound less stupid if they would think about things in terms of replaced snaps instead of lost snaps. If you just look at a guy and say you lost those snaps as though they're not being replaced, then yeah, everybody that goes away makes your team look bad. That's not the question. The question is, those snaps have been replaced. What is the replacement value? And if you look at that, Rashaun Gary's snaps are replaced largely by Lucas Van Ness, who was better than him last year. Romeo Doubs will probably have snaps replaced by Matthew Golden, who is a better wide receiver. Sometimes lost snaps, this is sort of that addition by subtraction thing. Sometimes lost snaps are actually replaced snaps that are replaced by somebody that's better. So it doesn't do any good to, first of all, stop calling them lost snaps. Start calling them, whatever term you want, but they're not lost. They're not gone. It vanished. They're not just going to sit on the sideline or have 10 men on the field and go, well, that would have been Rashaun Gary's snaps. That's not how that works. They're going to run the snaps with somebody else. The AI thing is it's a kind of a funny perspective, and I think the anti-AI people would be better served and to start pivoting in that direction, because they keep calling AI slop, and hilariously they call things that are not even AI slop because they can't tell the difference. Examples of that tomorrow. They would almost be better off pivoting to it's too perfect, it's too polished. You know what I mean? Because whatever sloppiness you think AI has, within a year, it's all gone, and it's going to be better than anything humans create. So if you want to continue to be against AI, you need to pivot to it's too perfect, it's too polished. I need something rough, rugged, and raw, like a human, you know what I mean? With all its beautiful imperfections. That's probably the better pivot. Just a thought. Just trying to throw my friends a bone here. Batman, what's up?
I really need to stop listening. Oh, Batman. I really need to stop listening to Sirius XM, man. They were talking about the Dallas Cowboys, and I literally just flipped on the channel, and they're saying, Dallas Cowboys do such an amazing job with the draft and an amazing job with free agents. I mean, they brought in Rashaun Gary. They brought in Kenny Clark. And I literally stopped right there, and I called it. Lord Almighty.
Well, it's frustrating on multiple levels. Number one, it's just baseline stupidity. And again, it's so frustrating because whether it's ESPN or Sirius XM, these are people that just turn on a microphone and they just talk sports, but they never think, maybe I should learn and study and grow or think critically or anything. But this is such a shallow way of thinking where, you did things. So then you win. You did things. And if you didn't do things, then bad. If you do things, then good. If you don't do things, then bad. And they were good because they added these big names. The other reason it's stupid, though, is that a year ago, if you would have gone on Sirius XM on their radio station and said, man, Rashaun Gary is a real heck of a player over there in Green Bay, he would have said, no, he's not. So what are you talking about, stupid?
Hey, Ryan, it's Drew from Green Bay, and just a quick question for you is, what position do you think we did more to help in the offseason? Do you think the defensive line with Hargrave and McClellan, or do you think cornerback with Cisse and St. Juice? Then I guess you can throw in Damani Jackson. I think that's a really tough one, but some things.
Well, if I were to cheat, it's really not tough. It's very simple, and it's the kicker position. And it's not even necessarily meant to denigrate our kicker. It's just the fact that he's 100% replacing him. So that's the easiest option. If he 100% replaces him and takes every single snap and every single kick away from him, then that is the area we've done the most to improve. Everybody else is a question mark. Cisse, we think he's going to play and we think he's going to start, but I don't actually know that, and I don't know if he's going to be good. He might be dog crap. I have no clue. Damani, I don't think is going to play. He might be a backup. He might be a practice squad guy. I don't know. Defensive tackle, probably a pretty good chance McClellan is going to be playing in that nose tackle role. I think his competition is much less. So that would be another option, too, as far as who's most likely to slot in and get sort of that number one job, so to speak.
I like Cisse, but I'm really getting like a good feeling from McClellan, and I feel confident in Hargrave. So my own personal leaning is defensive tackle or defensive line, but I don't know. I'm anxious to hear what you have to say on it. All right, thanks. Bye.
Yeah, well, that's what I had to say about it. The kicker job, he won it. Locked it up 100% of the snaps. After that, it's just kind of fingers crossed. Cisse should have a role, and McClellan should have a role. Outside of that, I don't know. We'll see how it goes, I guess.
Ryan, how are you doing? This is Nico.
Listening to your stuff, as usual. You are part of my daily routine when you post stuff.
Good.
So I'm sure I'm not the only one. So I've noticed a disturbing trend.
Well, here we go.
And it's not, I guess it's partly my fault for sounding just and talking like each other. But I've noticed I've gotten the blame for a couple things Mr. Uncle Rico said. Remember the law thing? Remember the lawyer that called for me? We found out that was 1265. But guess what, 1265? It was Rico that was talking about you in the shower, not Nico. So it's all good. I understand. We mumble and we probably sound the same. And to the untrained ear, yeah, we could be and our names. Hello, close, hello. And the lips and ass, which I thought that too, but I didn't call in about it. I was trying to be nice. Uncle Rico called in about it. I got blamed for that too, but that's okay. Like I said, it's, I guess partly mine and Rico's fault for being, mumbling chatterboxes that rabbit trail on a whim. Anyways, I just wanted to state that. That's all. And I'm not offended or anything. I'm not a part of that offensive group. Your song was great. Everything is offensive, yes. And if it's not now, just wait. Back then, a similar conversation with a coworker of mine because I said something that she was offended by. And then so I brought up a word that's not offensive. I think we call them little people now. Right? You used to call them mongoloids, and we call them midgets. There's another name somewhere in there. Now it's little people, which to me is the most offensive.
Right.
And I said, well, just so you know, if our culture continues to go this way, in 15 years, it will be offensive to say little person. And they'll have something else. They'll call them,
no question.
Cupcake cheese pies or something. And I understand she didn't believe me because that's what happens. It's you when you're young. That's why when young people hate me, go, well, I'm older than you. Well, truth is you learn stuff as you get older. Because you remember what you learned when you're in your 20s, and then your 50s, you're like, wait a minute, I was dumb. And you have a little retrospective or whatever that word could be. See, I'm not mad at anybody for accusing me of being inappropriate. I did call in and say some stuff about Ben Johnson that, if it's true, it's not offensive. Anyways, I'll leave it at that. Go Petco, and bring them on, folks.
I think it's actually more offensive if it's true. Not entirely sure what you said. I could guess because I know who Ben Johnson is, but yeah, I don't know about that. I'm going to work on that. Nico and Rico, I'm going to work on that. I know it's been a thing for a long time. I've addressed it. I've talked about it. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to work through that, but I'm going to make a concerted effort to pay very close attention to who says and does which things. Nico and Rico. I mean, the pictures do help. The picture of you, Nico, that you sent, which, to be clear, is the picture that I've been using for Nico and Rico, at least in my brain. And Rico, I don't know what Rico looks like, but he sent me the Uncle Rico thing. So at least I have the frame of reference to see in my mind Nico when Nico's talking and then Uncle Rico when Uncle Rico's talking. So that hopefully will help, and I'll be able to separate out some of the offensive things, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. All right. Why don't we take a break? We'll be back with Batman.
What up, Brian? Batman. The new ref agreement is in, and they did mention accountability and consequences.
Yeah.
What do you think those consequences are going to be? I wish I could look at this agreement to see specifically, are they going to bench these guys? Are they going to dock them pay? Just like a suspended player? That would be fantastic if they actually held these guys accountable, because once again, they got a 17.6% raise from the $250,000 they were already making, but there's still a secondary job. Man, give me that money and let me be a ref. So I really hope that they hold these guys accountable and what those consequences are going to be. I'm going to try to track it down, but if you can, that would be amazing. I don't know if you have more information, but just really curious to see what this actually looks like and what they actually signed off on. Because I am sick and tired of calls affecting games in the sense of not letting the players dictate the outcome of the game, which is what we all want and strive for ultimately. We want the right calls, and we want to make sure that the players are the ones dictating what's going to happen. Sometimes, and it seems like the last 2 years, it has been about the refs and them dictating it and being a story in almost every single game and it being about them. That's what I hope ends. So anyway, see you, man. Hope you have a nice weekend.
So I haven't really delved into it, but the only thing that I did see, I did mention on tomorrow's podcast, Ari Mirov had said that there would be a bench, or at least they discussed there being a bench of referees. And that meaning, and I doubt it happens like in game, but if you have a very poor performance, or maybe over a period of time a very poor performance, they may bring in a replacement ref to replace you. And I don't know if that necessarily is a better ref, but I do like the idea of putting a little fire under them to just say, you will lose your job if you don't stop sucking so incredibly much. It's at least, in my opinion, a step in the right direction. We'll see.
I really need to stop listening to this Batman, by the way.
What's up, dude?
To Sirius XM NFL radio. A Packer fan called in and said that we've been passed by, and this is the mentality of Packers, a lot of Packer fans. He was happy with the draft, but feels that the Bears and the Lions have surpassed us with talent on the roster. That was the first thing he said. I disagree. And even worse, and this is to tail on to the hate for Jordan Love, this guy said that he is the fourth best quarterback in the NFC North, that he's a full step behind Caleb Williams.
Jeez.
Because Caleb Williams comes in and wins games. Oh my God. Are you serious? Come on, man. Like, how are people evaluating and listening to all this stuff and drawing these conclusions? And then you have the host of the show agreeing with him and saying, well, like, I think he's a half step behind Caleb Williams, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, no, he's a full step behind. Are you kidding?
Jeez.
How can we change that narrative, man? Is it true that he needs to come back and make some final drive wins in order to convince people that he's a top 5 quarterback? Those things are not on him, is it? When we go back and look at these games, why did we lose? Did we lose because of Jordan or in spite of Jordan, right? Like, was it because McManus missed a bunch of kicks in the playoff game against the Bears and Caleb Williams throws a deep bomb on Nixon and Nixon decides to jump out of the way in another game and not tackle somebody? What does that have to do with Jordan Love and his performance? I don't get how they cannot compartmentalize and silo that. Anyway, had to bed. See ya.
Well, you will hopefully be happy with tomorrow's podcast. It's not exactly what we talk about, but it's pretty freaking close. At least in terms of standing up for Jordan Love in a very specific kind of a way. There are narratives around Jordan that I think are stupid. And, you know, I haven't really been full bore, like, you know, he's not getting the respect he deserves, at least not this. I've probably done that in the past, but I haven't in a while, and I've pretty much just kind of let, you know, I don't know. I mean, the Packers didn't do a lot to deserve a whole lot of, you know, praise and excitement and all that kind of stuff, but, you know, he's a good quarterback, and that's not really debatable. And now I'm starting to see more and more just, I don't know, just sort of a general vibe that's getting a little out of hand, where we go from, you know, okay, maybe you think he's not a top 5 or whatever. Saying he's not a top 10 is just going to infuriate me, but some people are stupid. But I'm seeing that drift. And now he's definitely not a top 10. And now he's just too inconsistent, and he's this and he's that, and he's inaccurate, and he throws too many picks, and all these things that are like, these are fake, and it's spiraling so out of control. I mean, what you just said to me is shocking, because that's the epitome of what I'm talking about on tomorrow's podcast. I mean, again, I was honing in on a specific thing, but the core is there is a spiraling narrative where as every day goes by, Jordan Love gets worse and worse in people's minds. By the time the season starts, he is going to be, replaced by, there's going to be a quarterback competition between him and Tyrod Taylor, apparently. I have no idea what the heck is going on, but as far as combating it, I maybe am just going to have to get started on a bit of a war path here. Again, I've already started that. I have another plan that, again, is not specifically designed for that. It's more about our offense in general, but I mean, it still refocuses things, and maybe that's the point, at least insofar as this podcast is concerned, because we can get caught up in that too, as far as going down the line of like, okay, fine, he's not that good, but he's not bad or whatever. No. Just listen. We need to refocus this thing a little bit. I know we ended on a low note. I get that. It was bad. It was ugly. Not so much Jordan necessarily, but the offense, the team, things fell apart. They went on a bad note, and I understand being sour. But we got to frickin' snap out of it a little bit and start getting serious here, because we're getting a little stupid.
Daddy! I was thinking about doing a more somber, like, Daddy, but I didn't.
Okay. All right, that's good. This is what it should be.
I meant to call early in the week, but I didn't as well. So McMahon is gone. I like that idea. I think it's good. Give the new kid a chance.
Yeah.
Not have anybody hang over his shoulders. We shouldn't be talking about kickers, but that's actually something that I like.
And again, not to undercut tomorrow, but very much agree. I'm kind of upset with myself for not seeing this coming, because when I saw it and I thought about it for 5 seconds, it was like, that was freaking obvious. I should have been able to predict that happening.
And the other sneaky part about all this, the Tyrod Taylor thing, and some of the other stuff that Goody's done with getting some older vets in, I don't know if it's the answer, but they've been just so young. But maybe having, Taylor around, and if Love's on the sideline and Taylor's like, hey man, what about this or what about this? Like, maybe somebody that actually can kind of give him guidance instead of Jordan having to give the guidance. I don't know. I feel like I'm grasping for straws right now, but trying to go with it, buddy. That's it. That's all I've got. I wish I had more, but I don't. You be safe out there, my good man. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
All you mothers. I was upset. We did a Walmart order. I didn't just throw a cheesecake in there real quick, so now I'm going to have to actually get up my butt and go buy one. But anywho, yes, Mother's Day, very much looking forward to that. I suppose I should take the kids with me so they can buy stuff too, right? Freaking kids. It is Mother's Day after all, not Wife's Day. I shouldn't have to buy anything. What am I talking about? Yeah, I mean, I haven't really put too much into the Tyrod, whatever Taylor thing, beyond we need a veteran in case Jordan gets hurt. We need a guy that can step in and can actually compete. And, so you got your starter, your backup, and your developmental guy. Those are the three. We don't need two developmental guys. And hopefully one of them doesn't suck butt. You know what I mean? Which he probably will. 3 Mile Island nuclear plant is set to restart operations. Sweet. Heck yeah, brother. What are we talking about again? Oh, yeah. So that's kind of my thing. Now, is it a benefit that he's a veteran guy that can provide a little guidance and knows how to hold a clipboard? And I don't mean that in a derogatory, stupid way. I mean that literally. He understands that job and can do it well, and to aid during, Jordan comes to the sideline, he can snuggle up next to him and be like, all right, bro, sneak in here real quick. Give me a hug. All right, here's what we got to do. That's maybe a little bit, but I think the vast majority of it is we got to have a guy that can help us to do stuff. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. You guys have a good rest of your night. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.